New city to emerge in Moheshkhali Matarbari, says Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus, stresses research on deep sea. Asian Parliamentarians for Human Rights proposes to hold an international conference involving Bangladesh, China and Asian countries to resolve the Rohingya crisis. Ducks election on September 9th. University takes stern action on cyberbullying. Accused Ali Hussein expelled for 6 months. Absconders barred from polls. No vote if single candidate contest. Alliance allowed, but party symbols must be used, says Isi Sanaullah. Prosecution seeks more time to present witness in Chankarpur July-August mass uprising case. Stern action to be taken if biasness found in election, says Senior Secretary of Public Administration. 4,000 ASIs will be recruited, IGP announces. 44 more Palestinians killed in Gaza. Belgium announces sanctions against Israel. And in Sylhet, the third T20 between Bangladesh and Netherlands called off due to rain. Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is Upama Shah with you, welcoming you to the news at 10. You have just heard the headlines, now moving on to the details. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus said that a new city will emerge in Moheshkhali Matarbari coastlines, the scene of the ongoing deep sea port, as part of Bangladesh's vision for a blue economy. This area will not only be a facilitating zone, but a new city will emerge there. He said this at a meeting with members of the newly formed Moheshkhali Integrated Development Authority (MIDA) at the State Guest House Jamuna today. The chief advisor said the scene was expected to create countries' international connectivity and the sea will be Bangladesh highway to the world. Bangladesh Investment Development Authority BIDA Chairman Chaudhry Ashik Mahmud bin Harun, who heads the MIDA as well, and members of the newly constituted entity Commodore Tanzim Farooq and M. Sarwar Alam joined the meeting. Professor Yunus directed the MIDA to establish an international standard training facility for research on the deep sea and alongside a state-of-art training facility in the Moheshkhali region and seek global expertise if required in this regard. The chief advisor also suggested MIDA to collect research papers from other countries which share the scenario identical to Bangladesh alongside. He said institutions or academia should be built on ocean research and stressed on organizing international conferences on ocean economy. Professor Yunus simultaneously stressed environmental protection while the meeting discussed prospects of developing an ecotourism park in the region, particularly stressing an afforestation campaign, saying it should be carried out taking into account the existing natural type of forest there. At the meeting's onset, the MIDA chairman gave a presentation on the Moheshkhali Matarbari project and outlined the authority's 4-month action plan, saying the mega project would be implemented in 3 phases: 2025 to 2030, 2030 to 2045 and 2045 to 2055. Chaudhry Ashik Mahmud bin said project on its completion was expected to generate 25 lakh people's employment and contribute $150 billion to the GDP. Chief Advisor's Chief Coordinator on SDG Affairs Lamia Morshed and Chief Advisor's Office Secretary M. Saifullah Panna were also present at the meeting. After the meeting, BIDA and Matarbari Integrated Development Authority MIDA Chairman Chaudhry Ashik Mahmud bin Harun briefed journalists at the Foreign Service Academy. He said the government is going to formulate a master plan to turn Moheshkhali Matarbari into township with a developed and modern port area like Singapore and Shanghai.
আমরা যদি বাংলাদেশের একটা সিঙ্গাপুর করতে চাই বা বাংলাদেশের ভিতরে একটা সাংহাই পোর্ট করতে চাই, আগামী 30 বছর হাতে আছে সময়। ইমাজিন করতে পারতে হবে যে 30 বছর পরে আমরা এই মহেশখালী মাতারবাড়ি এলাকাটাকে সিঙ্গাপুর বা সাংহাইয়ের মতো করে দেখতে চাই। এটাকে আমরা একটা কমার্শিয়াল হাব বুঝি। 4টা পিলারের উপর বেস করে আমাদের এই ডেভেলপমেন্টটা কাজ করছে। প্রথম পিলারটা হচ্ছে পাওয়ার অ্যান্ড এনার্জি। আপনারা সবাই জানেন যে আমাদের পাওয়ার জেনারেশনে একটা অগ্রগতি হয়েছে। আমরা এক্সপেক্ট করছি যে আমাদের পাওয়ার জেনারেশনে আরও রিকোয়ারমেন্ট তৈরি হবে এবং এসব ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল পার্ক হলে আরও বেশি তৈরি হবে। দ্বিতীয় পিলারটা হচ্ছে ডিপ সি পোর্টের পিলার। ডিপ সি পোর্ট তো আই থিঙ্ক ইজ সেলফ এক্সপ্লেনেটরি। আমাদের এখন যে পোর্টগুলো আছে সেগুলো সবগুলোই আমাদের আইদার রিভার পোর্ট অথবা এমন পোর্ট যেখানে বড় জাহাজ আসতে পারে না। এই ডিপ সি পোর্টটা হয়ে গেলে যেটা হবে সেটা হচ্ছে যে আমাদেরকে সিঙ্গাপুর বা কলম্বো হয়ে ইউরোপে যেতে হবে না। আমরা এত বড় জাহাজ আনতে পারবো যে জাহাজগুলোয় আমাদের এখান থেকে মালামাল নিয়ে স্ট্রেইট ইউরোপ বা আমেরিকা চলে যেতে পারবে। তৃতীয় যে পিলারটা সেটা হচ্ছে ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং। আমাদের ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল পার্ক যেগুলো হবে ভবিষ্যতে, আমরা যদি আপনি ব্যাকওয়ার্ড লিঙ্কেজের কথা চিন্তা করেন যে আমরা গার্মেন্টস করছি, আমরা এর পিছে যে কটন ওয়্যার হাউজিংয়ের কথা বলছি, আমরা ফ্রি ট্রেড জোনের কথা বলছি, এই জায়গাগুলো ফ্রি ট্রেড জোনের জন্য একদম মোস্ট আইডিয়াল, যেখানে আমরা স্টোরেজও করতে পারবো, আবার একই সাথে এখানে যদি কোনো বিদেশি সংস্থা এসে একটা কিছু প্রোডাকশন করে আবার সাথে সাথে বের করে নিয়ে যেতে চায়, এটা তাদের জন্য খুবই আইডিয়াল হবে। ফাইনাল যে ফোর্থ পিলারটা সেটা হচ্ছে ফিশিং। তো সমুদ্রকে আমরা নিয়ে কখনো অত ভালোভাবে চিন্তা করি না, যে হিউজ বে অফ বেঙ্গল আমাদের আছে, যেখানে আসলে হিউজ পরিমাণ রিসোর্স আছে। ব্লু ইকোনমিতে অনেক কিছু করার সুযোগ আছে, স্টার্টিং ফ্রম ডিপ সি ফিশিং অল দ্য ওয়ে টু ফিশ প্রসেসিং বলি, শিপ বিল্ডিং বলি, এই সব ক্ষেত্রেই শিপ রিপেয়ারিংয়ের কথা বলি, এই সব ক্ষেত্রেই আসলে আমাদের অনেক বড় একটা সুযোগ আছে।
Asian Parliamentarians for Human Rights APHR, a platform of former and present lawmakers of Southeast Asian countries, proposed to hold an international conference involving Bangladesh, China and Asian countries to resolve the Rohingya issues. The APHR made the proposal when a delegation from the advocacy group called on Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus at the State Guest House Jamuna today. Two things should be done on a priority basis. One is an ASEAN-led effort to raise funds for Rohingyas. The other is a high-level ASEAN-Bangladesh-China political summit to resolve the Rohingya issue, said Charles Santiago, a former member of the House of Representatives, Malaysia, and co-chairperson of APHR. Seeking ASEAN cooperation to resolve the Rohingya crisis, the chief advisor reiterated his call for Bangladesh to be included as a member of the regional body. The interim government wants to be a sectoral dialogue partner of ASEAN. It is important for us because the issue needs to be addressed, said the chief advisor. The chief advisor also urged APHR to form an ASEAN parliamentary group and Bangladesh to join it as an invitee, create a platform of ASEAN which does not exist now. ASEAN should tell the rest of the world about the crisis we are facing, he added. Wong Chen, member of the House of Representatives, Malaysia, and Raul Manuel, former member of the Congress, Philippines, and Chon Lathen Supai Bunlard, the program director of APHR, were among others present on the occasion. A Japanese parliamentary delegation engaged in labor issues praised improved working conditions in Bangladesh factories but insisted on more work for further progress. Michiro Ishibashi, Secretary General of the Constitutional Democratic Party of Japan and member of the House of Councillors, led the delegation members of the Japanese Parliamentarians League on the International Labour Organization ILO as they paid a courtesy call on Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus at the State Guest House Jamuna today. During the meeting, Ishibashi shared his observations from the delegates' visits to factories both inside and outside EPZS. Chief advisors Professor Yunus hailed Japan as a trusted friend of Bangladesh and thanked the country for its cooperation over the years. He noted that the relationship between the two countries is multidimensional. He highlighted that labor sector reform is one of the key priorities of Bangladesh's interim government and noted that his special envoy Lutfi Siddiqui had been specifically tasked with the implementation of all the ILO conventions and ensuring their timely adoption. He also sought Japanese support for deep-sea fishing projects in Matarbari and proposed initiatives to increase the number of Bangladeshi technical interns and specified skilled workers SSW in Japanese companies. Special envoy to the Chief Advisor Lutfi Siddiqui and Senior Secretary on SDG Affairs Lamia Morshed were present. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus urged the creation of stricter international legal frameworks to prevent the laundering of billions of dollars in stolen wealth to offshore tax havens and wealthy nations. He said this while during a meeting with Transparency International TI Chair Francois Valerian at the State Guest House, Jamuna today. The Chief Advisor said the existing global financial system has failed to prevent the transfer of tens of billions of dollars from countries in the global south to offshore safe havens and many developed countries where stolen assets are welcomed and legalized by enablers. TI Chair Francois Valerian commended the interim government's efforts to recover stolen assets but stressed the need for more effective international cooperation and stronger financial regulations to stop money laundering. Professor Yunus urged TI to amplify its voice and help convene an international forum to enact binding international laws to stop stolen billions from finding safe havens. The Appellate Division has upheld the Chamber Court's order suspending the High Court directive that postponed the দ-০৩ and Hall Union elections until 30th of October. The order came today from a full bench of 7 judges led by Chief Justice Soed Refat Ahmed after hearing the University Authority's appeal. As a result, the দ-০৩ polls will go ahead as scheduled on 9th of September without any further legal obstacles. Earlier, on 28th of August, B.M. Fahmida Alam, candidate for Liberation War and Democratic Movements Affairs Secretary from the Left Alliance panel, Oparogio 71 and Odomos 24 filed a writ petition challenging the candidacy of GS contender and Islami Chhatro Shibir leader S.M. Farhat. Following the hearing, the High Court had ordered the polls postponed until 30th of October. The university authorities immediately appealed and within less than an hour, the Chamber Court froze the High Court stay order. Chamber Judge Farah Mahbub yesterday extended that suspension and referred the matter to the Appellate Division for a full hearing. Lawyers said today's ruling clears the way for S.M. Farhat to contest the দ-০৩ election. This year, 471 candidates are contesting for 28 দ-০৩ positions. Chief Election Officer CEO Professor Joshimuddin has ruled out any increase in the number of polling centers for the upcoming Dhaka University Central Students Union দ-০৩ election scheduled for September 9th. Addressing a press briefing at the DU Senate building on Wednesday, the CEO said all polling centers would be under CCTV surveillance to ensure transparency. He assured that all complaints related to maintaining a level playing field would be dealt seriously. Professor Joshimuddin warned against cyberbullying during the election period, saying the university administration was in close contact with the Bangladesh Telecommunication Regulatory Commission (BTRC) to monitor and address such issues. Under no circumstances should anyone engage in cyberbullying, he cautioned, adding that stern action would be taken against violators. International Crimes Tribunal 1 has adjourned until tomorrow the cross-examination of Chaudhry Abdullah Al-Mamun, who turned state witness in the Crimes Against Humanity case against ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and 2 others over the July-August mass uprising. Tribunal sources said the order came in response to a time petition filed by the state-appointed Defense Council. Earlier on Tuesday, the tribunal had fixed today for the cross-examination. Meanwhile, in another case concerning crimes against humanity committed during the July-August uprising in Dhaka's Chankarpul area, the prosecution sought additional time from the tribunal to present witnesses. Freedom fighter commander of Indurkandi Upazila of Pirojpur district, Mahbub Alam Hauladar, was forced to file false case of crimes against humanity in 1971 against Maulana Delwar Hussain Saidi in the year 2009. Former local MP Abdul Awal forced the plaintiff to file the false case. At that time, when Mahbub Alam Hauladar refused to file the case, he was taken to the public prosecutor office. There, the plaintiff was forced to file the false case under threat, torture and at gunpoint. Subsequently, when the case came to the then International Crimes Tribunal, Mahbub Alam and two others were forced to testify falsely against Maulana Delwar Hussain Saidi. After a long time today, the three individuals lodged a complaint at the International Crimes Tribunal to reveal the truth of this incident. The lawyer of the complainants, Advocate Parvez Hussain, informed that the complaint has been filed against 40 individuals, including the ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. In the upcoming 13th National Parliamentary election, if two candidates get the equal number of votes, a new election will be held in that constituency instead of deciding the winner by lottery. Election Commissioner, retired Brigadier General Abu Fazal Muhammad Sanaullah gave this information at a press briefing at the Election Commission office in Agargaon today. Earlier, the draft amendment to the Representation of the People Order 1972 was finalized. He also said that if a candidate provides false information in their affidavit and it is later proven, they will lose their parliamentary membership within 5 years. Moreover, the security deposit for candidates has been raised from 20,000 taka to 50,000 taka. Besides, from now on, single candidates must face a no vote. If no wins, re-election will be held. Senior Secretary to the Ministry of Public Administration, Dr. Muhammad Mukhlisur Rahman, has said that stern action will be taken against any kind of biasness in the upcoming 13th national election. He made the remark while speaking to journalists at the Secretariat today. The Senior Secretary said the government wants to hold the upcoming election in a fair and neutral manner and set it as a role model, and accordingly instructions have been given to the field administration. Dismissing the possibility of appointing deputy commissioners and UNOs through lottery, he said no one would dare to conduct the next election the way the last three were conducted. At the same time, Inspector General of Police Baharul Islam said that ahead of the 13th National Parliamentary election, 4,000 assistant sub-inspectors will be recruited. He said 2,000 of those will be recruited directly and 2,000 through promotion. The government is working to present the truth before the people through fact-checking in response to false propaganda on social media against the interim government and key state institutions, said Special Assistant to the Chief Advisor, retired Lieutenant General Abdul Hafiz. He made the remarks while attending a seminar organized jointly by the Armed Forces Division and the Military Institute of Science and Technology at the MIST Seminar Hall in Dhaka today. He also called upon everyone to work together to combat misinformation and rumors. Speaking as a special guest, Principal Staff Officer of the Armed Forces Division, Lieutenant General S.M. Kamrul Hassan, said that attempts are being made to tarnish the reputation of the armed forces and weaken its leadership by creating false content on social media. Therefore, he stressed the need for everyone to remain cautious while using social media. The seminar began with a welcome speech by MIST Commandant Major General Muhammad Nasim Parvez. Vice Chancellor of the Ghazipur Digital University, Professor Dr. Abu Yusuf, presented the keynote paper at the seminar. Women and Children Affairs Advisor Sharmin S. Murshid has said eradicating poverty must be accepted as one of the main objectives of the social security. The advisor was speaking at the closing program of the 3-day National Conference on Social Protection 2025 at Shere Bangla Nagar in the capital today. Sharminis Murshid further stated that emphasis must be given to make the country's social safety system stronger. Cabinet Secretary Dr. Sheikh Abdul Rashid presided over the functions. Officials, policymakers and representatives from various agencies attended the program. Now international news.